Small business owner check. This is my name. This is the name of my company. This is what my company does. This is why I love what I do. This is an accomplishment I'm proud of. This is where you can find me online. And if you're a small business owner, introduce yourself in the comments and let's support.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Seat at the Dinner Table. I am Taman.
And I'm Kim.
And tonight, what are we having for dinner tonight, my love?
So I have a new fascination with beets. So we have beets, and I tried something new. I have ahi tuna. So we'll see. But I try to also plate it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I try to do a little bit of plating action with the fish and the beets. So I know the beets will be banging, but I don't know how the fish gonna taste.
I'm pretty sure that it will be banging as usual. So tonight we are tackling difficult convos. And where do we start with?
Let's just say this topic came up because we have been having some very serious discussions lately, and it's been along the lines of like, dang, how do I approach this? What do I say?
Right.
How do I say this without making him mad? Or I'm pretty sure he's like, how do I say this without hurting her feelings? So that's where this topic came from tonight. Like just having those difficult conversations with your spouse, with relatives, with friends, with coworkers. So it's pretty much like any type of difficult conversations we just wanted to talk about, but we're just going to touch on a couple of that.
And also, we want to touch on some things that are difficult conversations, not only in the household, but outside the household,
Right.
Within society itself. So without further ado, we don't have any banners or any questions put up for our screen. So we're just kind of freestyling it. Yep. So, ladies first. What is
Can you hear me?
What'd you say?
This fish is chewy.
Okay.
Because it said on the recipe that it's supposed to be pink inside, and I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Can't do it, Captain.
I had to overcook it a little bit, so well, it's good. Just a little chewy.
So, what is a difficult conversation?
Ooh.
If you want to start with,
I'm gonna jump right on it, and because this is a difficult conversation that literally recently happened with us, and it's step parenting. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that can relate to it, and even from different perspectives. But in this situation, from a spouse's
perspective.
Thank you. Mine's going already. From spouse's perspective of a stepmom or stepdad, it is so hard to approach any type of issue when it comes to step parenting. I told you it's gonna get you. I'm telling you, you're gonna be sweating. You're gonna be sweating soon. Here's to a little. I ain't telling people that. What you drinking?
What? I'm drinking. Yeah, I'm drinking wine. Every once in a while. And, I don't drink like
on the daily.
Period. So
yeah,
it's occasional, but let's get back to the step parenting.
Okay. So, if you guys don't know, I am a stepmother. We have a beautiful 14-year-old, and I've been in her life since she was about 2.5. And it's not an easy ride, like without going into details and stuff. It is not an easy ride. It's not for the faint of heart. And there are a lot of unwritten rules that as a step parent, I feel like I have to follow that no one else follows. And it's tough to bring up. Like it's tough to bring up those types of situations and topics to Taman about how I feel about certain things because I know it might hurt you. It might hurt your feelings. Like, it's silly. But there are some things like my relationship with my stepdaughter is not great. I wish that it was, but just being completely transparent like we are, it's not great. It's not even close to. I just said it. Wow. Over right at the perfect time. But to keep it 100, my relationship with my stepdaughter is that of a distant friend or teacher that she may have at school. It's like, hey, how you doing? But that's it. And I've tried everything, tried. It is what it is. And sometimes when I bring up my emotions and feelings to mine, like
Mhm.
I see it in his eyes, y'all. It hurts him that we just can't get it right. Or I'm not gonna put all the blame on her because when I get angry or when I get hurt, I get standoffish when I get hurt. So I'm not gonna put it all on her, but I really do try. I try and go beyond my means of trying it, and I think that's why it hurts me so much because I put so much energy and effort into it.
Hey Lex, how
Hey
you doing,
sis.
Miss Baker? How you doing today, this evening?
But yeah, like I'm the type of person I'm giving my all. I want that in return. And when I don't get it, it hurts me deeply. And then when I bring it up to someone's attention, like, hey, you're doing this and it hurts me. And it's just like, oh, it hurts me even more. And then my hurt turns into anger. So bringing up these things, I bring it up and I talk to him about it because that's the type of relationship that we have. But it's hard bringing it up. It's hard saying, "Hey, your daughter did this and it made me feel this way," and vice versa. So, well, not really vice versa because I'm not. I won't. I don't do nothing to her that I wouldn't do to Siani and Nehemiah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm like treating her different or anything like that. But it's just like, babe, my feelings hurt because of this. And he's like, I don't really know what to say, don't really know what to do, but I understand you.
Yeah.
What's your
Like I said,
perspective?
she said, "Welcome with the kiddos. What we're talking about tonight? We're talking about tackling difficult conversations." And the first conversation that we're talking about
Mhm.
that's being difficult is step parenting. Um, on my side, being as though that
That's
I came in as a single father. I didn't know really what to expect for the most part. And over time, there's been a lot of growth and a lot of ups and downs.
right.
Um, I can say that there's been good moments, there's been bad moments, there's been indifferent moments. And what I've been able to, or how I've been able to maneuver is the fact that getting an understanding that it is my child, but it is also my daughter's mother's child as well. And there are some things that may or may not agree with Kim's personality
Mhm.
and how she does things. But ultimately, I know my daughter, and I know that she respects Kim, and I know that she loves her. It's just that uh, what you would call everybody has different love languages, and their love language doesn't match up together. So it makes it seem like it's some distance at times, along with her growing up and trying to realize herself and how she does things and whatnot, and really just um, coming to the understanding that when I talk to each one of them separately, it's I love them. But they'll tell me that they love the other party. They care about them and whatnot. It's just that the way that Kim shows love is very different from the way that Kimura shows love. And it's been a difficult ride as far as you want that lovey dovey everything peaches and cream and all of that when it comes to blended families. However, I mean, in any family dynamic, there's always going to be some rifts in the road and not being able to mesh with different personalities. I know that there's probably some people that with siblings, like you love your siblings, but it's some of the things that they do you don't like, um, some of the ways that they react you may not like, but at the end of the day, you still love and care for them. So with her telling me the feelings that she has and whatnot, it is some tough conversations at times. Um, but for the most part, I know that both of them genuinely love each other. So I keep it at that. And I mean, of course, any person would want, you know what I mean, in that position, their daughter or their son to be as loving or represent love the way that the step parent would want them to. But I mean, that's just reality. I grew up with step parents. I was a little older when I got step parents. However, for the most part, it was never any hate or malice towards them.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more so the fact of I have a mother and I have a father. I care for them and I care for you too, but it's not as deep as it is with my biological parents.
Now, see, here's where it gets difficult though, because he has his. That's it. That's it. I'm gonna talk
That's
to you. That's
yeah.
your perspective on it. What the words that are said to me directly from her don't match up with what you're saying, and that's why it's like super hard for me. And then it's hard for me to bring even these feelings to you because you have your perspective on it and you do have the conversations with her, but I also know what she says to me directly. And y'all would be like, well, she didn't mean it that way. And I'm like, well, that's exactly what she said and she's standing on it.
Mhm.
So it's hard for me I don't want to go up like a volleyball back and forth because you're like, well, she said this, well, she meant this,
Mhm.
but that's not what she said. And I'm like, a lot of times your word is what you mean. Your body language and your words are different ways to communicate. And you can say anything, but it's really hard to disguise your facial expressions,
Mhm.
disguise your body language.
Mhm.
And when your body language is guarded and when your facial expressions are that of, I won't even make eye contact to try to even smile at you.
Mhm.
Like that's to me speaks a lot more volume than your words because you can say anything to anybody.
Mhm.
And then go ahead and your actions be completely different.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's where honestly, it gets difficult for me because I'm like, I hear you saying this and I know she says that she loves me and whatnot. But then when she also says, I wasn't really thinking about you, I wasn't really worried about it. Like that, those things is like, that's your true feelings on the inside to me. This is just my opinion. Yeah, those are your true feelings. Like, why you look at me like that?
Girl,
Those are like your true feelings coming out because this is like just like that, like out, like you know what I mean? Like you're acting in the moment instead of processing how you're going to set your words up to make them sound like you're saying the right thing. So that's that part right there. That's really difficult for me to even bring to your attention or just to even discuss about it. And I think that because the type of relationship that we have, we talk about everything,
right,
even when you don't want to.
right.
Notice I said you. Even when you don't want to, I ask questions. I want to talk. You're my best friend, so I want to talk literally about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that goes on, good, bad, ugly, and different. I just want to talk about it. But sometimes it's hard to bring those conversations because I hate the look in your eyes when you're sad because I'm telling you some of the stuff that she said to me directly, or some of the stuff that I've like revealed to her about how hurt I am. And it's just like, oh, and it's nothing. Like I see that hurt in your eyes.
I mean, because at the end of the day, you kind of, I mean, kind of, you want it to be what you envision,
Mm-hmm.
and at times it may not be.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, everything works out for the good for those who believe in him.
Yeah.
It's a scripture, and I really feel like that despite
This is good.
it is very good. Despite what is going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
I really think that when there is more growth, I think there'll be more appreciation.
I hope so.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, that's just my thought process. So I keep the faith alive, keep hope alive. And in the meantime, as long as there's no blatant disrespect,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? That's where I can and keep it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a difficult conversation that we
Yeah.
tackled.
Yeah. See, even when we talk about it, like it gets me wound up because I want so bad for like a closeness.
Mhm.
I want to be able to like dance around in the kitchen like I do with Siani and Nehemiah with
Mhm.
her. I've been wanting to do that for like forever,
Right.
but it's always standoffish. Like I don't really do that. I'm not. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And it's like, all right, you're 14. I've been in your life for 12 years.
Right.
Like you still don't feel like this? Like we've lived together for multiple years and you still don't feel like this with me? And so it's hard for me to accept because every other child I deal with, me, every kid loves me. So it's like a commercial or something.
And then,
He really likes it. But like it's difficult for me. It's almost like I don't accept this. You gotta be my friend. You gotta talk to me. You gotta love me. You gotta show me emotion. So it's hard for me. I ain't gonna hold you.
so the best way, in my opinion, to tackle situations like that when you're on this type of relationship, when we're talking about step parents, is to continue to be transparent,
Yeah.
continue to talk things out, and listen to the biological parent or the step parent, however you want to, whichever side you're on.
Dynamic it is.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, you both have the best interest at heart for the child,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that commonality or that common thread,
Mm-hmm.
and it's no quote unquote malice or hate or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where you can keep everything going and not be as stressed out. 'Cause I don't like when she's stressed out at the fact that she feels as though that it affects me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I still keep the faith that what she's wanting, that it'll happen, and also me having personal talks with her meaning my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that she's continued to say that she loves and cares for her. The actions may not show, but it is what it is.
Yeah. All I know is I can only control me, and regardless of how bad it gets, I think I've proven I'd literally give her the shirt off my back, like I did
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
And in her time of need, I'm still there. So I think, and
All those moments will add up.
I hope so. I really hope so. And like, I don't do it to add up. That's just who I am.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So another difficult topic to difficult conversation to have. Um Not necessarily in this household, but more so. I mean, we have this talk in the household, but just in general, I would say is the history of racism.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of people that will say to us as Black people to forget about slavery. Um, that in schools, that critical race theory shouldn't be taught, and leave the curriculum alone and whatnot. And I really feel like we shouldn't do that. I mean, if we're open and honest, we need to really look at the history of this country that we're living in as Americans and understand that we as Black people we didn't start off just in slavery.
Right.
And I think that is huge for us as Black people to understand that our history goes beyond that. And talking about racism, even having a conversation with one of my friends, is like, I would rather you tell me outright that you're a racist versus you being an undercover racist. 'Cause I think an undercover racist is much more.
It's worse because it literally shows you that they're snakes.
Yeah.
And they're lying.
Right.
Because, like you said, you come outright and tell me, I don't like you. I don't like your kind. I am racist. That's about as honest as a person can get.
Mm-hmm.
Honest and trustworthy, because I'm trusting you to tell me the truth that you don't like me, and I can respect that. Because you can't make somebody like you. Clearly, I know that. But you can't make somebody like you, and if they're telling you right off the bat, that lets you move how you want to move, how you need to move.
Exactly.
If somebody covering it up, they get on the inside of your friend circle and whatnot and destroy you from the inside, all because they're racist, which I don't even think they would allow themselves to do that.
Right.
Like get that far in. But yeah.
It's like I think that when we're talking about the history of this country, we really have to understand that it did start off to where it was white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
And we celebrated different holidays, like one is Thanksgiving, but what are we really celebrating? Like the Indians were here and were killed off, and the Pilgrims celebrated with whatever they celebrated with. I don't know what food they had or whatever the case may be, but that in itself is bothersome because these are talks that need to be had within the school and within community itself.
Especially since indigenous people, their culture is still around.
Exactly.
So it's like just my opinion. When they're saying they don't want to discuss or add critical race theory to the curriculum and whatnot, they're continuing to suppress everyone else's culture.
Right.
And that's not fair, because I came to the realization not too long ago, some years ago, but not too long ago, that we are literally taught that Black people came from slaves. I think it's a Nas's song that helped me realize, like, no, like our culture, kings, queens, doctors, engineers, inventors, architects, like all of that is what we were. And then they teach us that slaves were ignorant and couldn't read. No, we just couldn't read and write their language.
Right.
Didn't mean that we're dumb. Just didn't mean we didn't know English. We knew our own language and could read our own stuff.
Right.
But it's not taught that way. It's not taught that way at all. It's taught that slaves were dumb and ignorant and knew nothing about nothing.
And I mean, that in itself can put a strain on someone's psyche, especially if you're growing up and reading these textbooks and whatnot. It's kind of like, well, this is the only mention of us. And I'm not just talking just like penalizing white people or anything like that. I mean, there's different cultures in America. There's different, this is pretty much like the melting pot of the world, where you have so many cultures, so many races of people, nationalities, and all these things. And to think of it as a superiority, I mean, I really don't think that we should have that lens. I mean, at the end of the day, there's people that have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and we have different skin. And if I'm proud to be Black and I put on a t-shirt that says proud Black dad or represent different Black heroes that I have, I shouldn't be judged for that.
Right.
And it's just that with the stain of how white nationalism is and whatnot, it does put a bad taste in a lot of the minorities' mouth when you have certain things such as the rebel flag and things of that sort on that, because it's kind of like, okay, where is your mindset at? Like, are you celebrating your culture, or is this like a racist type thing that you want us to go back to how it was in Confederate times and things of that sort? And I think that now it's getting more to the point to where you see more white people more aware of what the history is and more open-minded. It's just that you have some wicked people in high places that still think that we are beneath and below and try to hide the fact that they feel those things. And I think hidden racism is more worse than open racism. And I really think that we really need to have certain talks with our friends of other nationalities and other cultures and whatnot, and really sit down and really find out what common threads we have, because at the end of the day, like, we're people, we're human.
Right.
And just because I feel like I'm proud to be Black and I'm proud to be African American, how you guys, not you guys, but how the nation labels us, that's not, to me, that's not racism. That's just being proud of who I am. It's just that in the country that I'm in, it was built off of white supremacy. So if you're my white friend and you have that type of feeling, then it's like a trigger or almost like PTSD, to where it's like, okay, not saying that you're not supposed to be proud to be white, but where are you going with this? If that makes any sense.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Stiani asked me today, which I don't know what she was thinking about, but she was like, since Grandma Ellen was born in the 1930s, did she experience racism? I said, well, first of all, we all still experience racism one way or another in certain different forms, parts of our lives. I said, but yes, Grandma Ellen, if I remember correctly, she lived through, like everything was segregated when she was growing up. And my grandma grew up in Virginia, so I don't know all the details or anything as far as like slavery and whatnot, but there was some, I think, areas where slave trade happened at down there. Because I don't think she's too far from Jamestown, but I don't know. But either way, I had to tell her, even the Exmoor Diner, it was explained to me when I was a little girl that it used to be segregated. And they showed us the whites only water fountain that's in the diner. That's still open today. But of course, it's not segregated.
It is. You walk in the door.
I remember my mom even telling me about when they were starting desegregation down there, and she was like, they weren't for it. They didn't want it.
Wow.
So now that I say that, it makes me want to go sit and talk with my mom a little bit more about her elementary school and middle school years, because she lived through that too.
And even thinking about my grandparents, like on both sides, my on my dad's side, they I'm gonna say migrated, but they
you can't find a better word.
Yeah, I really can't. They migrated from North Carolina on my grandmother's side. My grandmother's side. Her family was in North Carolina. They moved up from Virginia to the Eastern Shore, then ended up in Delaware. And on my dad's side, on his dad's side, the only thing I find is more so in Delaware. And with my mom's side of the family, they were both. One was my grandfather was from Alabama, and my grandmother was from Florida. And they met in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Your grandparents?
Working during the summer.
On your dad's side?
Mom's side.
Mom's side.
They were from the South, like deep, deep South. And just thinking like they.
Danny said Alabama.
Shout out to Danny. But they I think that they, just thinking of the time that they were in, they moved up here for the simple fact that it was in the north.
Yeah, we might have to take a break. We need a charger.
It's right there.
Oh. I think it plugs in on that side.
Okay. All right, we having technical difficulties. Thought it was too.
But yeah, like, I know that I tried to sit with my grandma and get a lot of conversation in regarding the upbringing down there in Virginia and everything. Yeah. So I know there's probably some things that's going to come to mind later on, talks and stuff that we had. And, I was close with her. So I talked about almost everything with her. So, but I wish that Siani was a little bit older to be able to ask that question to her before she passed, to hear her perspective on it.
So one thing I learned is that it's good to talk with your elders and really see how far we've came and how close removed it is from those times.
You know what I want to do? I'm scared though. I ain't gonna hold you. I want to do one of those DNA tests because I don't know my dad's side of the family. I really want to do one of those DNA tests just to see how much information it can give me, like the what is it, 23andMe type thing. I'm not saying any more names because we ain't sponsored.
I don't trust.
But I want to find one that can give me a little bit more about what my roots from both sides, because I know my grandma said that her dad, I think, was half Indian, half Black, something like that.
Hey, so sit down and learn your heritage.
Yes. So I want to see exactly like the percentages of my bloodline, but I need to find a reputable one and basically a lawyer to read the fine print and break it down to be layman's terms, so that I know that they're not going to be selling off my stuff or storing my DNA and spitting it to something else or trying to clone me. So.
They clone me.
Yeah.
I know, talking with my youngest daughter, Siani, our youngest daughter,
Nah, you can claim it. It ain't.
that I told her that like my great grandmother is from the Bahamas.
She rides on that.
Like it's like, yo, I'm Bahama all the way to I am Bohemian.
Yo, she
all the way
would fly her flag every time she walk around.
It's like that's what it is. Like,
Mm.
and it makes me feel proud because it's like I'm not necessarily all African American.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have some roots in the Bahamas. I have some roots in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
So like those type of things, it's like, okay, I'm a mix of a lot of different things. Like I can relate to I don't want to say Boricua. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Maybe I need to learn some Spanish and whatnot. But those type of islands or whatnot, it gives you more of a sense of identity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's wrap up this difficult conversation. You got another one?
Another one.
And another one.
Sex with the
Lord.
kids.
Oh Lord. You said
that conversation. I did.
Ooh.
Having that conversation with children. Children. Oh my gosh. Middle school. They start seeing stuff and hearing stuff that they shouldn't be seeing and hearing. And then like you gotta interject so that they know the right and the wrong. And it's like, oh my gosh, why are y'all forcing me to have a conversation when I don't feel like my child is ready? But that is
It's pushed in the media. It's pushed in TV.
it is. It really is.
And it's ridiculous. The
Mhm.
fact that like what you do in a bedroom as an adult, that's your business. It does not have to be mine. You don't have to force things down my throat to where you're making me feel a certain way about like it went from stuff being rated R in the movies to now stuff that was in the movies is on regular TV
Regular TV.
or even social media. Social media is a flipping monster. Like it's hard because like you want your kids to be accustomed to the times, but at the same time you want to guard them because they can click on anything and be down a rabbit hole, and the next thing you know, it's like, what in the world are you? And it's getting younger and younger. Like the more I think about it, it's like that birds and the bees talk. Like you could, like maybe back
See,
in
I
the
was in the
years.
5th grade, and I remember in the 4th grade, little boys were talking about kissing and stuff. And I was just like, what the heck? Like I overheard, I chaperoned a trip. I chaperoned a school trip and I heard a conversation. I was like, whoa, hey, we don't talk like that. Why are y'all talking like this? Y'all are in elementary school.
But you can say, I mean, you think back when we was in 2nd and 3rd grade, all I want to do is put my zoom in your boom boom.
Just shake your rump. Yeah, and we in the backseat grooving.
But we didn't know what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
Like nowadays, they have Google to where they can search up the meaning of something,
Everything.
and then like, oh, so that's what that meant. Because some of the songs, we just realizing what they
the
meant.
lyrics meant.
Exactly. It was like we were just bopping to the beat and just repeating the words. Now they have the technology to where it's like, what does that mean? What is a zoom zoom? Oh, so that must be a boom boom. We'll talk about it later. That's a difficult conversation that we'll have off camera.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, come on, again. All I want. Okay.
I just know just shake your rump.
Well, we just want to leave it like that.
Okay. But man, as a parent, it's so tough because you want to dumb it down to make sure that they understand it, but you don't want to dumb it down to where it sounds so mediocre, so like childlike that they still continue to go listen to their friends. Like you don't want it to sound cartoony.
Right.
So where they're like, man, this sounds dumb. Let me go. I heard them say it like this. Or yeah, like because these kids, they already think their parents don't know nothing. We've never been through nothing. We've never been 10, 11, 12, 13 before. Nope. And I'm pretty sure our parents said the same thing about us. Yep. But it's just so tough to even bring up because then everything is squeamish. Well, I can just speak for Siani. I tried to speak with her about her womanly bodily transition. She's like, "Oh my God, I don't hear it. I can't do it no more. Oh, this is gross." I'm like, "But this is a conversation we have to have because
Right.
it's gonna happen.
Right.
Like it's going to happen."
I know, man. Any man out there with daughters, that is one of the toughest things because I know how I thought, and that like as I was trying to kiss girls in first grade, second grade.
Fresh.
Yeah, I was fresh.
Wow.
They ain't gonna hold you.
Wow. Who are you?
What do you mean?
Just kidding.
I watched BET a lot. I had video soul.
You stupid.
But I mean, I think back to what I was thinking and just like I gotta say something, but I don't want to say nothing because like it's extremely hard. And I'm making a joke, you know what I mean, in a joking manner, like
Nope, not me. Give them to him straight.
no. I mean, I'm just saying as far as like them growing up
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot and changing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll make it seem like, oh my gosh, whatever, just to play into it,
Mm-hmm.
just so they don't feel like they can't come to daddy and talk. But also, daddy's like, I really need you to wait until marriage. And there's a lot of reasons why. You may not understand reasons why now,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh, and that's a
it may
difficult
seem like it's
conversation.
a quote unquote Christian belief per
Mhm.
se. But it's like, no, like in a sense, like you're giving the most sacred part of you to someone else. And like you should wait until you get to the point to where you really love somebody and you want to be with them for the rest of your life. Like it's a reason to save that sacred thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that you have that's sacred is your quote unquote virginity.
Mhm.
And no one should have it besides the person that you get married to. And I know me sitting back, thinking back now, like I really wish I took heed to the words that I'm saying right now. Because it's like, yeah, it would have seemed quote unquote corny or whatever the case may be, and trying to be like your friends. But I mean, at the end of the day, like a lot of those friends or associates that you have back then, they're not gonna be your friends and whatnot when you're grown and in your adulthood age and whatnot. So stop chasing the crowd and keep your gift.
Right. And see, that's a difficult part for me because I definitely want the kids to wait until marriage because you know what's out there, you know what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Also keep in my mind to not be naive because
Right.
they're also kids and influenced by so many different things and they have access to so much more stuff than we had growing up and we know what we went through. So it's like I want to teach them wait until marriage because it is sacred because it's so many things that can go wrong if you don't. But I also want to teach them like if you because I can't personally decide this for you, the right way to do things, the right way to go about things, protect yourself, keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
And so like that's hard because I remember even growing up, people didn't want to talk about telling teenagers or giving condoms to teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Then look how many teenagers was pregnant because nobody was talking to them. Everybody was turning a blind eye to it, like, oh no, my child's not going to do this because I run my household like this.
Right.
Your child is a completely different person. And that's not even saying it again a good or bad way, but they're not you.
Yeah.
They are themselves for a reason. And they have to be the only one to make decisions when it comes to their body.
Right.
Because you could tell them the decision that you made all you want, but we already know they're gonna do what they want to do. They may regret their decisions after that, but still it's their decisions to make.
You just have to be, as a parent, diligent on how you say things, what you say, and
whether you present yourself as being open to them coming to talk to you about these things as well.
Definitely.
Because I love my mama to death. But there were some things that she said, and I was like, you can say all you want. I ain't coming to talk to you. Did you not see how you snapped out?
Right.
Did you not see how you beat my brother down? I'm not going through that. Did you not tell me that you would kill somebody who hurt me? I don't want you to go to jail. I'm gonna keep that in. So like you gotta be careful how you present your information to the child as well, because your kids love you, so
Mhm.
they don't want to get beat up, or they
Right.
don't want you to go to jail because they done said something to you and you went off about it, or
Right.
went and attacked someone else because something happened to them.
Right.
So you gotta be careful with that too.
So the last other tackling difficult convos would be a our opinion on how to tackle difficult conversations.
Okay.
Um, I think that
Oh Lord, did I drool?
who
I don't know what just happened. It's not wet. Like something fell off my lip. Sorry about that.
um I think that we as people have to be more open-minded
Yes.
when it comes to people's perspectives, when it comes to people's beliefs, when it comes to people's feelings, what you say?
Opinions.
Opinions, feelings, because
Mm-mm.
we'll we can come across as overbearing or feel like it's a narcissistic type of my way is the right way. You know what I mean?
Nope.
No, you don't. So
What you mean? And what
what I mean
aspect?
like that is like there's times to where we can agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it's not saying that you're right and I'm wrong or I'm wrong and you're right.
Mm-hmm. I'm right
It's
most of the
just
time.
see what I'm talking about. This is what I gotta deal with. Says she's right all most of the time.
the time.
Most of the time.
Am I
Bro, that
wrong?
is just
Am I wrong?
I'll concede and say yes, but
No, tell your true thoughts. Speak your truth.
you have some wrong moments. Everybody has wrong
Right.
moments, and this has
That's
there's
so I said
moments.
most of the time. That means the other of the
I
time
give
I'm
you,
wrong.
I give you 51.
You funny.
I give you 51.
Yeah, you might want
Because I
to
do a
add
lot
a
of.
loop to that five. 81.
No, you see, it's a difficult conversation to have. Somebody think that she always right all the time.
I mean, proof's in the pudding if we only had a recorder going all the time.
What you mean?
Most of the time I'm right.
Okay,
In a lot of situations.
I'll let you have that.
Most of the time I'm right.
And see, it's not even about who's right and who's wrong.
I'm not talking about arguments.
I'm not talking about arguments either. I'm just saying in general with a lot of different topics.
Mhm.
For instance, one huge topic is religion,
Mhm.
right? And you have so many denominations in Christianity. You have so many belief systems in
I thought
the
you were gonna
Islamic
give me an
tradition.
example when I was right.
No, see what is happening here.
That's what I thought.
But I'm saying,
You said for
like,
example.
I had not a conversation, but I was just talking about this to where um a guy that owns a gas station in Newcastle,
Mhm.
right? And one of the things that I learned in my quote unquote Bible study was shalom alaikum is peace be unto you, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And assalamu alaikum is pretty much the same, it's just in Arabic. So that commonality doesn't say that Muslims are right because X, Y, and Z, but we found a common ground in the fact that Shalom Aleichem and Assalamu Alaikum means the same thing, just in a different language. So it's a matter of how people view things and how people see things is what their perspective is. And you can't say who's necessarily right and who's necessarily wrong. You know what I mean? Like I can get some things like if it's black and white, like okay, there needs to be 6 lug nuts on the tire, and you got 5, and one broke off or something like that, and then it's like okay, well you need 6, otherwise your car is gonna fall. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when it comes to different perspectives and when it comes to opinions, it's like how can you tell me that I'm wrong because I'm doing X, Y, and Z? So I get what you're saying as far as you being right when it comes to stuff that's black and white, you know what I mean? Versus the gray areas
That's what I
that
was talking
we'll like never really know for certain. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I personally have given up pork, and I haven't eaten pork in about 3 to 4 years
Was
now.
it that long?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was like 2019 with 2022.
Hmm.
So yeah, for about 3 years now, I
Dang.
haven't eaten pork, right? And it's not to say that I'm going to judge someone that eat a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. However, I've seen the effects that it helped me as far as my blood pressure. I've seen the effects that it has as far as us as African Americans and the way that our diet is and whatnot. But I'm not going to say just because this person ate a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich or whatever that they're wrong. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they could be exercising out the wazoo and still have no blood pressure. You know what I mean? That's so. I really think that there needs to be some mindedness when it comes to building in the gray areas and really hearing people out, because you could actually take something from them and they can take something from you, and you may disagree with something and they may disagree with something, but that shouldn't be the final end all be all because of how you feel. You should be more open to ideas, because you may not know what you can add to your repertoire to help you out of what their perspective is.
You know what that just made me think of?
What's that?
Remember I used to watch this show, Wife Swap?
Yep.
It's kind of like that. Like they would swap completely different lifestyles.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, it would give an update and both families would be like, well, I could see how this worked for that family. So we actually implemented that with our family.
Yep.
Someone was not open-minded, but it was a situation to where they got to see another family's perspective on things and how it worked. And just to see how they could incorporate it in their own.
Right.
It just made me think of
My
that.
mother said, "Learn from each other's differences."
Yes.
Exactly.
And
So,
I definitely had to learn from your differences
what you mean?
because I felt like my way was always right.
Wow, that is recorded.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I ain't got a
Thank
problem
you.
with it being stuff.
Thank you. That is on tape, on videotape.
You want to keep going? Anyway, I learned some things from your perspective.
No, I've learned some things from your perspective as
I'm sure
well.
you did.
Oh, there you go. There you go. It was just too it was too
Listen.
nah, but that's the one thing.
Can I tell on you a little bit?
Oh, tell me about what? I can tell myself about that. Hey, you want to tell? Go ahead.
So it'd be funny to me sometimes.
My wife has handyman tendencies, right? And me personally, I'm more of a computer nerd, read books, and yeah, like I know some mechanical stuff. You know what I mean?
Like to take stuff apart and put it back together.
Yeah, and what she doesn't know is that I used to like that too. But I just be like, I rather, yeah. So when it came to the brake light, right?
Signal light.
Was it signal light?
Yeah,
Okay.
signal light.
Um,
Bro, we was out there dusk till dawn.
wait a minute. When was this?
The last time you changed the signal light, we was out at 6:08. He was changing the signal light.
Wait a minute, which car was it?
The truck. It was the truck. And I was like, let him do this. Because hold on. It was killing me because I know I knew how to do it. I've done it before. And I'm like watching him struggle through changing the it was by the time you were done, I needed the flashlight on just to point the light for you.
It was already dusk.
No, it was sunlight out. It was bright.
It was not bright.
I got Cole standing out there. Like, oh my gosh, we've been out here for 2 hours him trying to change this light bulb.
In my defense, I've had an 88 Ford Thunderbird. I've had rather older cars, to say the least. So it is really not the same process at all. Have you seen an 88 Thunderbird?
Yes, the only difference was probably you need actual tools to
So you
loosen
can't
the
say it's the
bolts.
same
These
process.
bolts is plastic.
Yeah, and it's different. So me having the mindset that I had, I'm like, okay, where do I start? Do I start like this side, whatever the case may be? So
And then
I
he
had
didn't
to
want me to tell
adjust.
him nothing.
Nah, I really didn't
He didn't
because
want me to
I
tell him
had pride. I
nothing.
ain't even gonna hold you. I had pride. That's one thing I've learned to let go.
I'm
Is
proud of you
pride.
for that.
It's a ooh.
Needless to say,
J.
I
Cole
had to
said pride is
change.
the devil. It
Yep.
is yeah.
Needless to say, I had to change the signal light on the truck yesterday. Took me what, 7 minutes?
I told you go ahead. Don't do
Yes, I
that.
called him.
I wasn't
was
even
nice though.
around
He
you.
said, "Babe, do you want me to wait for you to change the light bulb?" Because I already knew in my mind I wanted to do it, but I was trying to be nice. I still got the road to do it. I just didn't have a screwdriver, so I had to wait. I literally was going to pop it out in the parking lot of Lidl's. That quick. And then it was windy, so I got cold, and I ain't had no screwdriver, so I was struggling. So I had to come home. But then I was just like, "Babe, you want me to wait for you so you can change the light bulb?" He said, "No, go ahead and do it." I was like, "Yes, I can do it myself. It's gonna take me 2 minutes. I ain't gotta wait all night."
And she was also shocked that I could change spark plugs.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. It's just a matter of everything's newer now. And like I said, the older cars that I had, it was like I've had some older gentlemen teach me how to do certain things. It's just my biggest thing is I don't want to mess nothing up.
My biggest thing is I'm just gonna go for it. And if I mess it up, then I'll call and pay somebody. I feel like Cliff Huxtable in that aspect. I don't mess stuff up that bad though.
I'm not trying to mess something up to where you on the road and it be like, so that's why I rather call an expert. But I'm good with the technical side
Yeah.
as far as that. Like I know if you can call me for not even gonna say IT work, but when it comes to like computers and things like that, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Good with technology and all of that. So
That's what I found on him for, because I don't got the patience to sit there trying to figure out why this wire not working. Nope, I ain't got time. If
So
it don't
that's-
plug in, needs fixing.
and that's how we work together. I mean,
Teamwork.
even with the businesses, like
Yep.
I shout her out and push for her as strong as I can as far as her business. And I know that any business questions that she has, she'll come to me. That's not being narcissistic or
No, it's not.
proud
Because
of
I just rather
herself.
make the stuff and not talk about it at all.
Right. And I know that there's a business side to it that I mean that you gotta have your ducks in a row in order to be
My poor
a
ducks just
sufficient
be swimming.
yeah.
My poor ducks be
When
all
she first launched Simply Shondell, babe, where I start? What I do? So I mean, we make a great team because in a lot of areas that I don't want to or lack in, she's strong in, and vice versa. So,
and that's why we can get through difficult conversations.
she's the magic to my Kareem.
Who that?
Basketball.
No, I didn't know which. I didn't. Shut up. Now I know.
How?
I didn't realize they were. Now I know.
Yes.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
They lose their positions. It's 3 and a 4. No, it's 2 and a 4.
It was the 1 and the 5, baby. 1 and the 5. It don't matter the positions. It was just Lord days. Jordan to Pippen.
Mm-hmm. Well, Pippen was like the little lackey.
Stop. Don't do that. Don't disrespect Pippen like that. Don't disrespect that
people
man, Scottie
treated
Pippen like that. Listen, I really think Scottie Pippen can lock up LeBron, but that's just my opinion. Okay, Kobe to Shaq. Oh, you don't like Kobe, Lord. Oh man, what's the next dynamic? Man, Batman and Robin, or you don't want to be Robin? I can be Robin.
Why we can't be BB and CC? No, they was brother and sister.
Yeah, there was.
But you ain't get BB without CC. I always thought they was married though.
I did too. When I was younger, and then I realized they was brother. I was like, wow.
Oh, now it puts a whole different perspective on all their songs.
My mom, I used to think my mom looked like CC Winans back in the 90s.
I could see that.
Stockton to Malone. There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Stockton to Malone.
Yeah, that's a
better.
good one.
So who Malone?
I know who. I
don't know. I mean, who out of us is? She said, "I know Malone." All right, let's just wrap this up, man. So, I'll say my take on having difficult conversations is really just being open-minded to the different perspectives that are displayed. Um, and I mean, really just hearing people out, to be quite honest, and their views, even with the racism. Like, why do you not like me because of my color? Like, what the heck did I do to you?
Right.
And vice versa. Like, what is it that you, well, I said don't like, but what did you, like, why are you so gung ho on,
Downing
right,
someone
right.
because of who they are, what they look like. Sorry, I jumped in.
As far as the step parenting, having that difficult conversation, I feel like if you have a significant other and you have a child that's outside of you guys' union, um, there has to be open dialogue. Otherwise, it can eat at you for years and whatnot,
It can
and
destroy a marriage.
can blow it up completely. So,
You have to, I feel like you have to tackle that with respect and open mind because,
mhm,
and then you also have to tackle that knowing that there are going to be some people, some situations and some people who are not going to agree with the conversation that the parents have. But in order to continue to thrive for all parties, like the kids, and I'm talking about the kids and the parents,
mhm,
whether it's bio parent or step parent, and the kids,
mhm.
you're going to have to set everyone else's emotions and feelings on the outside so that you guys can thrive
Gotta have
as
some
a
tough
family
skin.
unit. Yeah, because it is very difficult. It's very difficult.
And what was the last one that we talked about? The
We
third one?
talked
You
about
said racism and what else? Sex. Oh Lord.
sex conversations
Um.
with children,
Yeah.
with minors.
Yes.
You got to do it
Otherwise, they're gonna learn it from somebody else.
and probably learn it wrong and do wrong and end up in a situation that they don't want to be in.
These are just our opinions. You don't
Yeah.
have to take it for fact or anything like that.
Right.
We're not trying to force anything.
And we will say our opinion is based off of experience,
Exactly.
firsthand experience. So we're not just sitting here talking about topics and things that we don't know anything about. It's firsthand experience.
Ooh, this wine, this wine, boy. I tell you, I am not a heavy drinker. This red wine, hey, you swirl it,
Heck if I know. That's why I need to go to
then you
some wine
smell it,
tastings.
and then you
You
got
gotta dip your finger in it.
I ain't got to dip my finger in it.
I was joking.
I was like, yo, I'm not dipping my finger in the wine.
Listen, I saw your son dip all four of his fingers in his apple juice and said, and then
Say that on camera. That is supposed to know.
it just came in my mind because he was like, ew, Neo,
He gonna
don't
look,
do that.
he
He
gonna
was
look at
like,
this 10, 15 years from
what?
now, like, yo, man, why did you tell people that?
But he looked at her like, what? I'm just drinking my apple juice. She was like, off your fingers. Sorry, that just popped in my head. I forgot to tell you that the other day. Taylor just looked at him like, you are such a boy. That is nasty.
So, in conclusion, we thank everyone for tuning in on Facebook and YouTube.
Thank you.
Okay, swirl, smell, and taste. Okay. So swirl, smell, and taste.
Smell wood chips. Sorry, nah, I just seen that on the show.
I thought you had to do like something like put it in your mouth. Pause. So we thank everybody for tuning in on YouTube and Facebook. If you like us, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our page on Facebook.
And it's okay to go back and look at older videos. Even if you don't catch one from the beginning, you can go back and look at it because it's still up there.
Definitely.
That helps too.
Check us out on any podcast streaming sites, whether it be Spotify. Not sure if we're on Apple, but Google Podcasts, Stitcher,
You know what
Speaker.
else I think might help too?
What's that?
Even if they don't want to watch it, click on it, drag the little bar all the way to the end, and let the last few minutes play out, and then we'll get credit for a view because it played the whole video out.
What my baby said.
I think because I say that because when Callan's manager was talking about his plays
Mhm.
on all the streaming sites. She was like, make sure you play it to the end so we get credit for it being streamed.
Got you. Okay.
So
Okay.
if you don't want to watch the whole
You're
hour
on the
show,
streaming
scroll
game.
it to the end and let it play out.
Follow us on Instagram as well. We are attempting to put more content as far as posting things on our social media. However, with my wife being a wife, working a 9 to 5, businesswoman, mother, as well as myself being a father, husband, realtor, entrepreneur, advisor, counselor,
I was gonna say
consultant.
medical care personality.
What is medical care?
You be having to take care of me when I have my
Oh
all these
yeah,
surgeries and
yeah.
injuries I be having.
So it's a lot going on, but we definitely manage. But yeah, we're definitely trying to keep you guys up to date on anything. I'm definitely excited. I'm hoping that our guest for our next show is
yeah.
going to be able to be on with us. Definitely got to check in. But this is one of the entrepreneur spotlights that I'm excited about learning about. I know there's a couple people that I told behind the scenes that is excited. I don't want to say nothing because anything can happen in between. But once we but once we get a confirmation, make sure that
We'll
we're good
post
to
it.
go. We'll definitely post it. Just keep your eyes and ears open. But until then, you got anything to say before we
I do. I'm looking at the date over there. We also have some things coming up.
definitely
So I think we'll share on our A Seat at the Dinner Table platform as well. But Tamar and I have a vending event coming up on May 14th. You want to talk about it?
yes, we will be at Uncle Aaron's Pet Grooming. We're calling it Late Nights at the Den, where there's a free hip hop show where we'll have Young Seda. If I said that right, or if I said that wrong, I apologize. We'll have B Wells. Shout out to Brandon. Ezekiel, which is a good friend, Eric, and also Kels Tango, aka Kellen. So we definitely guys want you to come. DJ by DJ Ahmad the Greatest, which is my little brother as well. So it's definitely a family affair.
Just to put it out there, the address is at Uncle Aaron Grooms at 604 Plaza Drive, Newark, Delaware 19702. But check out our page because I messed that up a little bit, and we'll have it posted so that you see it for sure.
And we'll definitely, I'll be there to answer any real estate questions that you may have, whether it be as far as purchasing a house, selling your house, or investing. As well as my wife, Simply Shondell, will be there as well, displaying her lovely earrings that she handcrafted and put her heart and soul and sweat and tears and all of that into. So definitely come join us. It's free. And I know that he'll be having some events reoccurring as far as music, spoken word artists and things like that. So this is just one of many more, and we're just honored to be a part of the grand opening of this event and this vendor series. So definitely come out and join us. You got anything else to say before we close out?
Nope.
All right. So thank you for tuning in. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your 2 weeks, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right.